Okay, so we're going take two on this. I don't know what happened there. It had the wrong titles. I'm hoping that's changed now. So it's got the right title. Let's just check. And if not, we'll just have to plug on anyway. Stem mastering and logic. Okay, cool. So, yes, I'm going to be doing stem master. So this is a track I've been doing some stuff on last week. This is how it sounds. So I've bounced out stems. Oops. So often I get problems with running out of processing, as I'm sure a lot of people do. And I like to bounce out stems so I can have them all nice and clean and not have the problem with the processor getting overloaded. So yeah, it's just good. It means if you're sending it out for remixes, this is already a remix, but if I was, then I'd be able to just send the parts out. So it kind of means they're saved as well if you need them later down the line. Okay, so let's just route the drums together. I just want to show you a little bit about how I'd go about mastering this in in the real world, what I'd actually do with it. So we'll bounce to clap as well. We'll send this. These are all been pretty heavily processed already. So we'll call this drum bus, and the rest of them are pretty much standalone stems, so they don't really need to be routed. Maybe the effects and the noise could go to a dedicated bus, but I'm probably not going to do that much to that anyway. But anyway, so with the drums, with the track actually in general, with the stem processing, what we're trying to do is really kind of bring out what we've been doing in the mix process. So try and really create the same kind of front back depth, etc., that we have in the mix process, in the master process. Now, ideally, this would be sent away to be mastered by somebody else, but I think I'm just going to give this track away around the time of the release, which is coming out on Boogie Yank, so I don't really want to have to do that. And I actually work as a mastering engineer anyway, so I can kind of do my own master quite happily. But yeah, it'd be nice to get another set of ears on it, but that's fine. Okay, so let's have a look at the drums first of all. And what we can do is add a bit more front back depth to things, and we could also try and add a bit of character. A good one for character, kind of tried and tested, is an SSL compressor. Now I'm going to use a 30 milliseconds attack, which means that the transient is going to pop through. I don't want to squash the transient. And the release time, I like to go for 100 milliseconds release time, because if we look at my music math plugin that I like to use, it's not really a plugin, app I like to use at 124, the 16th note is 120, so we're kind of around that level at 100 milliseconds or 0.1 seconds, which is quite a nice groove to have the compressor moving to. We can try some different ratios, but let's just bang it in and see what happens. So we're not looking to smash it. I mean, is it just me, or does that just sound fantastic? So that sounded a bit arrogant. I mean, the SSL compressor. So it's one of those things where what it feels like it's doing is gathering up the drums and just popping them forward a little bit. And not just in terms of volume, because I'm trying to gain match here. So I've only got 0.9 dB gain makeup. And what am I squashing it? How much? Maybe kind of average of about a dB. So I'm trying to cancel that out. So I'm not trying to listen for the I don't want it to be louder. I want it to groove, and I want it to have a little bit of extra mid-range bite, which is what you get from an SSL compressor. Now, something else we can try. There's two things I want to show you on this. There's the fact that this is possibly the best plugin you can get for Logic. And by the way, apologies, I'm not on the latest version, but I have a 2010 Mac Pro, and I need to get a new graphics card in order to install it. So yeah, I'm waiting for that to arrive, and when it arrives, it will be installed. So Blue Cat Audio, where's it gone? Here it is. Patchwork. I may have shown this already, I can't remember. This is probably the best plugin you could buy for Logic, I'd say, because it allows you to do cool parallel routing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab what am I going to grab? I'm going to grab the Waves shell, Waves wrapper, which means I can basically load in a Waves API, and I'm going to put the analog on, and I'm going to put the manual makeup on, and I'm just going to turn this up, and it becomes this crazy limiter, which I'm going to dial in parallel. Damn. All right, let's do it as I said in parallel, and I want to turn the volume down to make up for it. Okay, let's get it 100%. But I'm not trying to, let's try on the loud setting, I'm not trying to introduce too much distortion. Adds kind of a really nice crunch to things. I just want to have a look actually and see. I seem to remember there being quite a nice preset for this, but I don't know where it is now. Okay, we'll leave it like that. So that's without it. So it's just adding a bit of extra crunch to things. Let's try it in the mix. So let's take them both out. I just wonder maybe if it's a bit too much. Yep, I'm going to take it out. If I'm not sure, then generally I like to take things off. So what I'm going to do next is have a look at the bass. I might just put a little limiter on here. I use FabFilter L2. Now I've got this in a mode where it's basically input and output match. So if I bring the input up, it's going to reduce the output, so I'm not going to get any gain increase. So I'm just ever so slightly holding that in place. I could even try putting a little limiter on the drums as well. Let's try it now. No, I don't want on the drums. No, I don't want it on the bass either. I think I probably limited it when I was mixing it as well. I just feel like it's losing a bit of kind of excitement in a way. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the other parts. What I like to do is actually try the SSL compressor actually just across the mix on some of the different parts. It's quite cool to try. So let's put it on the keys. Same settings, yeah? Bit across to the guitar as well. Okay, cool. So that's the SSL compressors going across the main stems. Sample, what is this sample? I don't want to do anything to that because I just want to leave it as it is. Effects and noise, it's not really essential to put it on there, I don't think. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to try, I'm just going to get the Waves channel strip plugins, the NLS bundle, and I'm going to use NLS, I'll use NLS channel. Okay, now this means I can mimic either SSL, EMI, or Neve console essentially. So let's try each one in turn. Slightly more rich, I think. So let's try. I can change. So using these VCA groups, I can change all of these settings in one because they should all be going to the VCA group. So let's open this next one. So they see it's on VCA group 1. So I can quickly just audition everything going through the EMI desk, the Neve desk, or the SSL desk. Let's try a bit of drive. I think I've got something bypassed. Yeah, so when I was saying a bit more rich, I literally think that was the Emperor's New Clothes. I don't think there was anything happening. Great stuff. Yeah, I don't know if I need the drive actually. Try Neve. Yeah, let's say one more time. Yeah, I think I like the SSL actually. It usually sounds a bit more impressive than that, I have to be honest, but never mind. Okay, cool. So I'm going to do some mastering now. I'm kind of happy with that. I've done so much work on this already that I can't be bothered to really go crazy. So I'm going to put on, not dual mono, I'm going to put on a Pro Q3. And I'm going to do with this, I'm going to kind of frame the top and the bottom of the mix. Okay, linear phase mode. Don't want it in any other mode because we're working on a master. I don't want to mess up any phase stuff. Now, with the kick drum, there's usually like a subharmonic frequency, which is around kind of the 20-25 hertz. And I don't really want to cut much above that generally. Okay, just helps to get rid of any really low frequencies that we don't really need in the mix. Same with the tops. We can do a little boost sometimes as well, just to replace these really noisy kind of inaudible frequencies with a little boost below. Okay, then what I like to do is actually, use, now I've got a plugin called Tonal Balance, which I use huge amounts. I actually use the first one because I've got loads of presets I haven't got around to porting over to the second one. But this shows me where it sits in terms of certain producers that I've analysed their tracks. So this is a bass heavy preset, so it's showing a bit heavier in the bass, not as much in the mid-range, but I find these presets a little bit probably geared towards bass heavy music, which probably still has vocals and is not necessarily so housey. I don't know. So I've got a Purple Disco Machine preset I've made where I've analysed lots of his tracks to see what the frequency density's like, because I quite like his mixes, and when I play them out they always sound good. So kind of if it sits in those pretty, not exactly, then it's kind of usually going to be a good starting point. Yeah, so it's looking pretty good, and also it's a different kind of track. It's quite a head down kind of roller kind of track. It's not got a lot of music interlocking. It's there's that bass. It's going to have a little bit less going on the mid range, but I could do try and a little boost around here. So it's very broad strokes with mastering. Yes, it's never going to be big boosts and cuts. But something I could try here is just find a little area in the kind of maybe around here. And this is something I could just try. I could try doing a little cut and a little boost. It can help the bass sink a little bit. So with that in, it's just slightly bigger sounding to my ears. It's really subtle, but it just feels like it occupies a bit of a bigger space, a bit taller, a bit wider maybe. Maybe sounds I don't know, a little slightly more processed. I'm not sure. I'm going to leave it in there. Whoops, didn't want to do that. Let's do all of them. Okay. Okay, cool. So let's go for some tape. I'm going to use the Waves Kramer tape. This helps to roll off transients. And again, gather things up and bring them out a little bit. Yeah, so it adds a richness and it adds a bit of a low mid bump. Now, this is something that Mark from Stanton Warriors showed me, which was a little tip to kind of get around that little low mid bump, or that kind of extra low frequencies that are added in there. So if we go hard knee, we choose a side chain, switch it on, try and find an area kind of where the mid range is quite present. So I'm auditioning just the mid-range there, so taking the bass out, so it's going to be responding to this mid-range and get it really like kind of biting. So now we can take this off and we can listen to what we're compressing. Kind of sounding a bit like a gated beat. So let's try that 120 setting. So that's what it's responding to. Okay, so we'll bring the dry amount in, and we'll ease the wet amount in to get a bit of that mid-range bite kind of back in. So obviously it's going to be louder, but also let's just actually try and match the volumes. What did I add in there? +3. It's really nice. This is such a good compressor. This is like your desert island compressor. So just like gives that a bit of mid-range kind of bite essentially. Okay, nice. I'm going to try this. This is my favorite mastering compressor, which is a Vari-Comp from Native Instruments, which is built on a Manley Behringer. It's like someone's got a pillow over the mix. I didn't realise, and suddenly they take it off, and then it's like, okay. Just suddenly this sheen and openness comes. It's amazing. It just takes the mix and just goes like that, stretches it up and down. Amazing, love it. Okay, cool. So let's try. I've kind of got some parallel compression already going on, so I'm not going to do any more parallel compression. Let's put on a bit of. Okay, let's try an NLS again. I'm a bit obsessed with just NLSing everything, trying to get things to sound really kind of fat and analog and rich. I'm going to try this EMI setting. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go with that AMI setting, I think. Okay, let's go to Ozone 9, Imager. And what I like to do with this is a little bit above 10K release, try it out. A little bit about kind of 80 and below, make it mono, just to make sure there's no weird stereoness in the bass, which there wouldn't be anyway, but just to make sure. A little boost just to spread the really high frequencies. I don't usually work in here unless there's a problem. A little bit too cheap. Yeah, that's cool. Just slightly spreads out things a little bit. Okay, cool. So last up, I'm going to add in Ozone 9, and I'm going to go to Master Assistant, use CD. I use this a lot because basically it analyzes the frequencies and how they're going to affect the limiter, and it adds a dynamic EQ. So that's what I use it for, is a dynamic EQ and the limiter. usually it adds in an EQ setting, and it looks pretty crazy, but it's only a point. Again, it's broad strokes, and I try that in and out and see what it thinks. But then it doesn't know what kind of music it is, so I'm always a little bit skeptical about that. Okay, that's cool. The dynamic EQ, you can see it's just responding to certain areas, and they do that to make the limiter more transparent, so I quite like that. Okay, let's get a multimeter up and see how it levels wise. We're pretty healthy in terms of level. I just want to say hi, Rob, and hi, Tuco. Thanks a lot for joining me, guys. Hope you're finding this interesting. So yeah, this is like a quality control for me. It's like if I can get this to be really loud, that means generally that the mix is kind of in the production's in a good place. The kick and the bass are nicely positioned, and if you find that it's not, you can't get it very loud, it usually means that maybe something wrong with the mix. We don't have to have it that loud, but it's nice to be able to. Basically, it's kind of like when you bring that limiter down, you don't want suddenly one sound to be distorting. That means that things are out of balance. But if everything kind of crunches equally, that usually means the mix is pretty nicely balanced. A couple of things we can try here. I'll bring these down. We could do it now. It's fine. Maybe I usually do this earlier in the process, and I've got a preset. I'll probably come up with the preset. No, it won't. Okay, so switch this off. We could just hold the bass in place a little bit. Smooth. as well.